In this lesson, I want to do a quick sketch of what we want our website to look like. So typically for a website, we're going to use a default 4-page website. So we're going to have home, we're going to have about, services, and contact. And we did want to do a little quick sketch of what we want this website to look like. So mind you, this is going to be really rough. I'm using an application, so this is an online application called Draw.io, and basically it allows you to really quickly do a quick wireframe of what you want your website to look like. So maybe we'll do that and we'll make that one blue. So this will be our basic top bar there. We can apply it. We can also update some colors if we want as well. So I'm going to just use some of the default Bootstrap colors. So I'm going to make this as a primary color. So with Bootstrap, there's a number of default colors, and so there's primary, success, warning, and primary is blue. So I'm just going to have that to illustrate that it's blue. Next thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to have an image here across the bottom. So I'm just looking at a really good identifier for an image, and maybe what we'll do is we're just going to simply drag another box here. So the way that I want this website to work is I want to include an image here. So this part here, this will be all image, and we're not going to have it rounded. So that's going to be just coming in there, and we're going to have a fairly large image. It's going to be covering that whole available width there. So this is where our image is going to go. Next, we're going to add in some text. So we're going to add in maybe a heading, some heading information. So each page will have this H1 heading info, and this is basically about what is going to be contained within the page. And then within here is where we're going to just have some basic content. So I'm going to use another rectangle, and yeah, this is really, really rough. So I just want to get a rough idea and outline what we need and what we need where. And then at the bottom, let's add in a footer. So we're going to make the footer dark. So that's going to go across the bottom there, and let's make it fairly dark. So we're going to use just the Bootstrap defaults again. So that's going to be a dark color, and then maybe we're going to have some links out to our social media as well as some copyright information about our web page. So basically this is the rough layout of our website, and then of course the content in here is going to vary depending on the website, but the rest of this is going to be contained within the master. And then, of course, I wanted to also add in our navigation up here. So this navigation is, so we'll get rid of the fill there, and we're going to change the text to be white so that it stands out. So I'll do white text. So basically, as said, we're going to have home, we're going to have about. So these are all going to be links, navigation links, and this is also going to be our collapsible menu. So let's just drag that out. And again, it is really, really rough. So we're going to have it here on the right-hand side, and we can also maybe add in our company name here. So this will just have our company name and information here on the left-hand side. So that's it. So that's basically, we can get rid of that line around there. So this is basically what we're going to try to build out. And again, we're going to probably be going back here to sketch out what our homepage is going to look like, our about page, services, and contact. But the first thing that I usually like to do is build out my basic page structure. So that's going to include the navigation bar. That's going to include this heading information over here. It's going to leave this content section, which is going to be open. It's also going to include that heading information here, because all of this stuff we're including on every page, and then as well as the footer contents. So we're going to build all of this first and as a master template, and then we're going to build out those pages separately once we've built out that master template, because we do have the same content across multiple pages. So now that we've set this up, what I usually like to do is set up placeholders for all the different content. So we know that in the beginning we need our navigation bar. So just as in our illustration, we've got our navigation bar. The next thing that we have is a header. So this is going to be our page header. It's going to include all of that image page header. So we're going to have our navigation bar is going to sit on top of this. And let me just type in comments here for the navigation bar. So this is going to be a responsive nav bar as well. There's our header. And the next thing that we need is we need another container. So this is going to be our container for main content. That's where all of our main content is going to go. And I'm going to create a div there to hold that. So this is going to be a div. And we'll give it a class of container. So this is a bootstrap class. And with Bootstrap, so you have two options for containers. You can have a fluid or you can just use regular container. The fluid one does full width across. Container one is limited sizing. And when you shrink it down, then it takes full width. So that's the difference. And those are your two options for Bootstrap. And then last but not least, we need to have our footer. And this is where our footer content will go. So we can have our social media links, copyright, and whatever else we want to put down there. So that's what's going to go down there in the footer. And maybe for the footer, we're just going to do footer. So opening and closing footer. So that's it. So even if we go to the page right now, there's really not a whole lot to see because this was just an exercise in building out that structure and conceptualizing what we want our website to look like. So the next step is going to be to start building out the rest of the structure, and we're going to start out with the navigation bar. So this is crucial for any website, and as mentioned, Bootstrap does this really, really well. So let's build out our navigation bar. We also want to fix the navigation bar to the top, so we don't want to be able to scroll down. I want this fixed at the top, and that's something else that Bootstrap does, and just simply by adding in a class. So I'll show you all of that coming up in the next lesson.